Welcome to the show. This is the Strange Brew Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tom Cat, aka Tom Thompson. Follow me at the Reptilian.
Who do I am another one of your hosts, HP Shelfcraft, also known as Anton.
We got Anton back in the house. I am excited for this episode. It's going to be a lot of crazy shit. We're going to get in the skull and bones, bro. Man, true conspiracy. So literally, I have our fucking dying for a drink t-shirt. It has a skull man on it, smoking a cigarette with a handgun and a shot glass because he's ready to die for the podcast. Check out all your merch at www.strangebrewpodcast.com. I also have this big ass shot glass that's made of a skull.
That is dope.
With brandy in it. And then I have I'm really set up for this shit. I have a Bone Shaker beer. And then look at the glass I got with it. It's a massive skull mug, dude. It's fucking huge. So I'm literally set up, ready to talk about Skull and Bones. I literally have Mr. Eddie right here, my little skull man, where I'm ready to talk about Skull and Bones, bro.
His name is Mr. Eddie.
I literally just gave him that name, and I thought it was pretty good.
I love it. It's like Ed Gein.
Oh, yeah, let's crack up the Bone Shaker.
I poured mine already. I got it's a Genesee Oktoberfest, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, this
glass October is over.
It's a little big for a beer glass, but yeah, it's almost the size of a real human skull. It's pretty awesome. And then
hold it next to your head so the audience on Twitch can see. Yeah.
Pretty close. Almost looks like a Misfit skull, but I think that's their like logo shit for good old Bone Shaker.
Well, and the Misfits took their logo from the Crimson Ghost, I believe.
Yes. The movie. And I got brandy, which I got it to switch it up, and I haven't drank brandy in a while.
The only skull that I have currently with me is my skull full of weed liquor.
Oh, that's sweet. Did you actually make that? Does it work?
Yeah, no, I made it. It's just an infused tincture. So yeah, it'll get you nice.
That's awesome.
But I'm gonna have it sitting here facing me the whole time so I can maybe absorb.
How do you do it, right? You just soak it, or do you boil it?
No, I have a machine that I use.
What? You have a machine?
Mm-hmm.
I want that machine. Send it to me for my birthday. So I'm drinking off some brandy because, I'm going to switch it up. I always switch it up, try out different liquors. And it always brings me back to stealing it from my grandfather. And me and my buddies skipped school and then stole booze essentially from my grandfather. I don't know if he had it at the house. But I stole, I think, from his place and then brought it to my own house. And then we poured it in the bong, smoked weed. And then I made my buddy take a shot of the brandy fucking bong water.
God damn. Yeah, I've also made the mistake of attempting to use booze as bong water before, but I've never I've made bong water jello as a prank on my friends and just left it in the fridge, and if everybody got all nice and ripped, they went and dug into the jello, and we're just like, this is horrible. Why am I eating this?
Yeah, so we're all ready to get into Skull and Bones. I literally have skull things all around me. Question. It's been a long time. I really want to rewatch it. I wish I did before this podcast. But have you ever seen the movie The Skulls?
Of course I have. I've seen most of them.
I guess isn't there numerous ones?
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 sequels, if I'm not mistaken.
That's so weird. I definitely saw the first one. I don't know. Is the second one any good? Did they get worse as they go, or what?
Of course they do. Yeah, they're terrible. I mean, the first one was barely like good at all. It was just a weird teen drama that was set for like freshmen in college. It's like a movie made for fucking rich, affluent white kids that are like, maybe I can get into the Skull and Bones.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, no, you're not that affluent.
Skull and Bones, the Order, or Order 322, or the Brotherhood of Death, is an undergrad senior secret student society at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut. The oldest senior class society at the university, Skull and Bones, has become a cultural institution known for its powerful alumni and various conspiracy theories. And it makes me think of, like, I'm not a fan of the Freemasons. I think that at certain levels, it's a brotherhood. It's cool to get to hang out with your bros, have some beers. But if you keep going up the ladder, it becomes a satanic cult. And I believe that's what it is. When me and Billy covered the Freemasonry and essentially Satanism, there's different sections of Satanism for everybody. This is like the bad Satanism. This is like the shit where they sacrifice humans and stuff. And Yeah, and it makes sense why Apathy, a rapper that I listen to, he's from Connecticut. So now it's like all full circle, and he became a Freemason, and he has songs about like his Freemason order and the things he knows. And even though I don't think he should be telling people, but
You're allowed to speak certain things. You're not allowed to give out. See, the Skull and Bones know that it's you. You're not just not allowed to give out Brotherhood secrets. Is the main thing. But I mean, and that's the other thing is like how much of it's disinformation that you're giving out.
it's very true. But there's some people that obviously got to leak some of this shit out. So
I think a lot of ex-Masons leak a bunch of shit. Like I've listened to a couple people that are now Orthodox Christians that were formerly Freemasons, and they leak a whole bunch of shit.
Juan's
but
butt buddy, fucking Manly P. Hall, he exposed a lot of shit from the Freemasons.
I don't, but you can't really say that Manly P. Hall exposed "quote unquote" a whole bunch of shit, because if you're into that theory that, you know, everything that is going on, especially with America and is all connected to that, then that's clearly information that was meant to be leaked.
Yeah,
otherwise they wouldn't have allowed it to occur, because they had way more control over what got out back then.
I'm gonna get the Secret Teachings book just after I go through Crowley's book, because I found it on Amazon. So I'm like, why not? Maybe I'll get into it, and then we can all talk about Manly Penis Hall. And
you've got to do some Blavatsky level reading if you're going to read Manly P. Hall. That shit's fucking way too voluminous to sit and try and cover.
Juan just wants to be some spiritual guru, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Fucking, like McKenna said, follow plants, not gurus. And even then, I don't think you should necessarily follow any plant.
I literally have a skull man with a vaccine on my hat, too. I'm all skulled out.
That's why my Instagram's getting fucked up right there. No.
On February 17th, the 100th anniversary of Geronimo's death, descendants of the Apache warrior filed a federal lawsuit against the Secret Society of Skull and Bones of the Yale University, and demanding that the group, which claims in its possession of Geronimo's remains, return to the family. I believe strongly from my heart that his spirit was never released, Geronimo's great-grandson, Harlan Geronimo, 61, told National Press. So we'll get into why, but as the legend has it, Prescott S. Bush, that goddamn reptilian piece of shit human, the father of President George H.W. Bush, the first George Bush.
Herbert Walker, yeah.
Yeah, the grandfather of George W. Bush dug up Geronimo's grave in 1918 with help of several other bonesmen, because that's what they call themselves, bonesmen. As a member of the society are known, and they stole the warrior's skull, 2 bones, and some riding gear from his grave at Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
So it's supposed to be the skull and 2 femurs is allegedly what was stolen. The reason being is because in the traditional Skull and Bones logo, it is a skull and 2 femurs, because they make the most iconic symbol on that. So the reason the lawsuit got thrown out is because they've never admitted to having it. No, that's the thing, is that it's a rumor. It's not there's no tangible evidence for us, the layperson who aren't bonesmen, to go in and be like, yeah, you totally have it, because they denied it when they got it in the first place. But it's one of those rumors that, like, if you're going to have a fraternity like that, and you're going to want those rumors to abound, you're going to want all of the misinformation, because all it's going to do is lead to you guys getting more reputation.
I also read that it was thrown out because at that time it was illegal to dig up bones. That they didn't really, there was no law against essentially digging up graves.
I don't know about that. I'm willing to bet that might be one of the older laws that are on the books.
This YouTube video told me fucking wrong then.
What's up?
This YouTube video told me wrong then.
Tom, when does YouTube ever give us bad info?
Do you think that there's a porno called Bonesman?
I wouldn't doubt it. I would hope so. If not, that's just a horrible waste of a title.
The society allegedly put the remains on display at the tomb, imposing windowless crypt in New Haven, Connecticut, that has served as the group's headquarters since its founding in 1832.
Did you watch any videos on the actual building itself? Like, it's a beautiful sandstone building that just looks like it's smooth everywhere, and there's only 2 tiny little slits in the front to let in a little bit of light. Like, the thing's got to be incredibly imposing on the inside. I would love to see inside of it.
I guess you don't like things that are smooth everywhere with 2 little slits.
No, I like him a little veiny. I just wish I had 2 slits. That's all I'm saying. No. Dude, did you see
Yeah.
what in my research I found because all bonesmen take a nickname, and apparently George W. Bush couldn't think of a name that he wanted to use, so he used temporary and it just stuck. So his
Junior.
fucking Junior's well, not Junior because there's no Herbert in the middle of his name, but yeah, his nickname in the bones, his bonesman name is temporary.
Because he's a temporary president.
I honestly just feel like out of everyone in that god-awful administration that I would want to talk to W more than anyone because I feel like
I want to smoke a joint with him and drink some whiskey.
yeah, that would be dope. I don't know. He was the useful idiot out of the whole thing.
It's true. Throughout history, some of the most prominent American figures have been bonesmen, hand-picked members of Yale's undergrads class selected to join the ranks of the elite students. In addition to Bush, both H.W. and W. Bush followed in Prescott's footsteps during their time at the university. And let's all not forget that Yale is just for people that can pay to go to Yale.
Yeah, it's all Ivy Leagues.
For rich asshole kids that barely took any sort of education, most of them. And fucking George Bush and his father are a bunch of 2 fucking idiots, man.
I would not call Herbert Walker an idiot. I would say Herbert Walker is
I'm talking
arguably
about George Bushes, the 2 Bush.
Yeah,
2
Herbert Walker.
Georgies.
The first George Herbert Walker Bush,
yeah.
W's father, is at least in some conspiracy circles the man who is responsible for assassinating JFK.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say he's stupid.
Smart
I would say he's evil.
Yeah, okay, evil then. These evil fuckers, okay?
Yes, for sure.
There is a lot of just spoiled kids that essentially went to Yale that really, if they need to pass a class, their daddy or mom, well, probably their daddy, could have paid for it.
W is one of those people, though, that I have to wonder if he didn't get by on his own merit because he was a C student. If your parents pay for your grades to increase, I don't think they're going to pay for it to get to a C unless you're the worst fucking student and no one will believe that you got an A in anything.
Of spoiled rich kids.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's an Ivy League school. Of course, it's spoiled rich kids. There's spoiled rich kids at any university, many of which do not get in on their own merits.
College or university because it's all bullshit.
Isn't your shit free?
No, are you fucking joking? You know how expensive school is in Canada?
I thought you guys had university basically like taken care of by the government.
No.
No?
If you're native, yes. But if you're not, no. You have to fucking pay thousands of dollars. When I was looking at graphic design, it was 20 grand.
Art is different, though, from what I understand. I mean, I'm ignorant of the way Canada works. I'm simply going by what I had heard. I think Australia is free in certain parts of Europe.
Well, and there's places like Sweden and stuff, which would be nice. I think they do sort of that same style. But I want to go to Toronto Film School, and that's fucking crazy expensive. But you know, now I'm a podcaster, so I didn't make movies because I was arrested a lot when I was a kid. so they followed his footsteps. Yeah, members have included hundreds of government officials, such as former Secretary of State John Kerry, as well as members of the entertainment industry, such as actor Paul Giamatti, which I did not know was in the Skull and Bones.
Giamatti's a bonesman?
Yeah, man.
Didn't know that either.
Weird?
No, that's cool.
There's probably some people that we don't even know that were part of it that just went to Yale. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course. People whose names aren't in the public eye.
Where'd Fuckerberg go?
Faces. Didn't Fuckerberg's a college dropout, if I don't remember, if I'm memory serving. So is fucking Wild Bill Gates. Also a college dropout.
You've seen that? When he's a fucking kid, he's the creepiest looking. He's still creepy, but
so yeah, that hasn't changed.
He's sitting there during his things when they were suing him for the things he was doing with his company and shit, and he would sit there and rock like a little fucking crazy man.
Sounds like he's on the spectrum.
No, he's a reptilian. The first extended description of the Skull and Bones was published in 1871 by Linman Bagg in his book 4 Years at Yale. Noted that the mystery now attending its existence forms that great one's enigma, which college gossips never tires of discussing. Fucking so essentially that it's just a brotherhood and it's fucking weird shit, bro.
Yeah, it's a weird hidden fraternity. It's like a step above your traditional fraternities. But did you see what the when you were doing your research, did you look into when it was founded and why it was founded, allegedly?
I think we might get into that, but if you have to say something, say it.
Oh yeah, so it was basically founded by a couple of dudes who uh weren't granted access to certain academic societies. So they were like, okay, we're going to found this. And there's actually a rival group.
Wasn't it started by?
Scroll and Key.
Well, yeah, Scroll and Key. We'll probably talk about down the road. But Yale was started by a bunch of Christian fucks, I think, or Catholics. It was started by religious people, considering how it's just, what it is today. This culty, creepy ass fucking club, especially back in the day. But yeah, the Yale was created to give kids education and the youth education from like a Catholic group. What I read.
Most colleges originally are funded by religious groups, at least a lot of the really old ones, because
course,
A,
really
that's
big
who
back
had
then.
the money, and B, you're talking about, for the longest time, the religions were the ones that held priest classes. So essentially the first academics and the first scholars came from religious institutions. A lot of the times they'd either be thrown out as heretics or excommunicated is the same thing. But if you think about it, that's where most academia comes from. So it would kind of stand to reason that that's going to be what happens. Because even in Greece, you had, like the secret schools, and that was mostly just made up by people that dedicated their entire lives to the study of everything.
The study of everything. Question everything is what I always say.
Yeah. Wise
Brooks
words.
Mather Kelly attributed the interest in the Yale Senior Society to the fact that the underclassmen members of the freshman, sophomore, and junior class societies returned to campus the following years and could share information about society rituals, while graduating seniors were, with the knowledge of such, as at least a step removed from campus life. So essentially, that people would gossip about it, but the senior members essentially and the people that were part of this kind of didn't have campus life. They literally hung out with their brotherhood and they all jerked each other off in the basement and fucked skeletons together and all that fun stuff. You guys have a big thing in the States when it comes to frats and shit. It's like crazy down there.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Frats are something else.
Are they still existing the same way they did in like the 80s when you have like Animal House and shit?
No, most of those frats do not have the ability to exist like that anymore because most of them will end up getting the fucking living shit suit out of them.
They're rapey, right? They're rapey.
Well, okay, even the Skull and Bones, which was nothing but white men for most of its life, is now the last, as of the
Till
one,
the
the
90s,
one video that I watched.
they're like, you can have women in.
40% of the last group of bonesmen that were tapped were women.
Every time you say bonesman, man, it just gets me hard. Skull and Bones selected new members among students every spring as a part of Yale University Tap Day, and has done so. So Skull and Bones selects new members among students every spring as part of Yale's Tap Day. What the fuck is Tap Day?
Same thing with Freemasons. Freemasons also do it within the secret schools within themselves, is they basically come up to you and put their hand on your shoulder and say, "You're tapped." Like that's where it originally came from, is somebody physically putting their hand on your shoulder and saying, "Hey, come with me." And that's supposed to be like same thing with. Have you ever seen the illustration of the Freemasonic handshake?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it on here, but that's one of them. That's not the one that I'm talking about.
Oh, why didn't you say it, bro? Say it. Who gives a fuck?
No, fuck no.
Why?
What if I want in?
Fuck them, man. You ain't being a fucking Freemason.
Why not? Can't beat them, join them.
I knew a kid when I went back to school, to finish school, because I dropped out, that was going to be a Freemason. And I think he was lying because he had a ring already. And the kid was like 23 and he said he was a third degree member. I think
depends on which order he joined. I think we've had this conversation.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't fucking know, bro. You're kind of fucking lying through your teeth, I think.
Scottish Rite, I remember, it's either the Scottish Rite or the other one that has the 32 degrees, and one of them only has 3 degrees. But if you're a third degree in whichever one has the multiples, that's basically being an initiate. That means that you've passed through your orientation and you are now a entry-level member.
Well, yeah.
A third degree in the other one means you're an ascended master, essentially.
My woman's dad is like higher status, I would say, in the small town that we live in now, because we got out of the city, and he's had tons of Freemasons try to get him on board, and he's like, nah, it's a lot of memorizing, and doesn't sound exciting.
Yeah, it's club. I mean,
And he said it
regardless of all
takes
the
a long
nefarious.
time because Chelsea's grandfather was a Freemason, and he was like a 3rd or 4th degree, and it took him a while to even get up there. So
Then he's most likely in the other group, the one that's a very high ranking versus entry
So
level.
when the tap day and they come up and they put their hands on their shoulder, they're probably like, come with me. Close
essentially,
your eyes,
or being like, hey, I think it was
and ready for insertion. You think that they suck the senior members' dicks to get in the club?
That's all right.
There's a lot of shit that goes on. I think that's homo magic.
God,
is that bad?
You and fucking Juan with the Crowley magic is stored in the butt shit. Which it is. It's called the G spot. Of course, it's stored in the butt. But no. I think that there's probably some merit to it because with a lot of organizations and homosexuality being illegal in most places, as it was for I don't know, a good portion of everything, you most likely had groups like a lot of Western occult societies. I think.
Well, look at Bohemian Grove, bro. They brought in a fucking hung-ass porn star, this big dick old 80s porn star, and they brought him into the Bohemian Grove so members could have fun with him and shit like that. That's like it's supposed to be a legit fact.
I've never heard that before.
What? Fuck, what's the guy's name?
I've heard 1.5 million random facts about Bohemian Grove, 0 of which can actually be, well, not 0. We know there's a giant owl statue.
Yeah.
That's about it. We know it's in California.
Yeah, well, no, the Alex Jones broke in there. They have the fucking necrophilia room.
And you believe for 1 second that Jones isn't a fucking agent?
I don't know. I don't want to believe it. If he's an agent, Ike's an agent. Ike is definitely not an agent.
Oh, Ike is definitely an agent. What are you talking about?
How is he a fucking agent, bro? He literally is like, he's at protests. He's there. He's fucking always there. He's hanging out with people. He's fucking nice. Don't fucking say
if he wasn't an agent, he wouldn't be at those fucking rallies. He would just be talking some shit from the sidelines and be terrified to set foot outside because he thinks the government's going to kill him.
Everyone leave fucking David Icke alone. He is a true human spirit, and he is trying to wake people up. There's got to be at least one motherfucker like that. And if everyone fucking makes fun of David Wilcock too, I'm going to smash somebody with my fucking massive fucking like 7-inch, 6.5-inch cock on your face. I'm just going to fucking slap everybody.
Everybody out there, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go up, find all of the disinformation you can on David Icke, all of the negative information on David Icke, and just bomb us with it.
I told you, I always watch both sides. I watched a 2-hour documentary that just essentially goes against David Icke and his belief and what's happening and all that shit and what he says and kind of portrays him as a disinformation agent. And then at the end, the guy was like, I'm Christian, I'm a fucking religious nut. And that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, but you said that was the one thing that, like, you agreed with a good chunk of it up until you found out he was a Christian.
I didn't agree with any of it. I said it was interesting.
I must be misremembering the statement that you made.
I am part of the Icke cult. Everybody fuck off. I will fucking, that's the one, never mind. I'm a sucker into this.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm sure, like, with anything, there's nuggets of information and all of it that's good, but I don't know, man. There's so much.
David Icke woke me up, man.
Alex Jones woke me up, but
Alex Jones did too. But other than music, that talks about this stuff, David Icke was the one that, like, everything he says, not everything, 70% of what he says is fucking true. It is. If you look into it deep enough.
Such as
reptilians exist, man. I saw them, bro. All right, we're not getting into this, but like the whole hierarchy and the king and queen, the way that things are run, the history behind all this stuff, the serpent eating its own tail,
the Ouroboros,
the reptilian culture. He dives into a lot of other stuff, but if you watch his talks, I've watched all of them. They're like 7 hours long. He gets into everything, and a lot of it is true. You can literally look it in, not fact check it, but because that's all bullshit anyway, but it's true.
You know, the biggest thing with mammal versus reptile is something that's so, like, if evolution is correct, it's something that is so deeply ingrained into our genetic memory that's probably why a lot of that shit makes sense and resonates, is because we have a natural enemy in the serpent. Because if
Shut the
evolution
fuck
is
up.
true, when we were hanging out in trees and shit, what's our biggest fucking enemy? Is a random snake just chilling that just takes a bite at us, and now we're fucked.
Okay, they say if the fucking rock didn't hit, essentially the meteorite didn't wipe out the dinosaurs, they can prove it's in the fucking Smithsonian fucking museum that if that didn't happen, that reptiles would become humanoid the same that we are to this day. That's like scientific fact. If they just like kept evolving, if that's evolution, that there would be humanoid reptilian beings, and that could have happened on another fucking planet. There is so many fucking universes out there. This is for an alien episode, okay?
Dude, no, we all know the truth. The truth was leaked to us in the 1995 film Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, it is weird. That has the reptilian shit in it.
That thing is like fucking David Icke's wet dream. What are we talking about here?
It is weird. It's fucking horrible.
I love that movie. Don't you dare talk shit about Super
We
Mario
should watch
Brothers.
that as a watch party. So let's get back
down.
into this. A tap day when they tapped him on the shoulders. They come with me. You can suck my dick and you can get into the club. And they've done that since 1876. Since the society it didn't actually, like I said, allow women into the society until the early 1990s.
Mm-hmm.
Skull and Bones selects 15 men and women now of a junior class to join the society. Skull and Bones taps, dick suckers, those that it views as campus leaders and other notable figures for its membership. How do you explain fucking Bush then? He's just like, hey, I was just fucking
Charisma, dude.
Yeah.
How the fuck did Bush how did Bush function as a president for 8 years saying some of the dumbest shit you've ever fucking heard?
And now it's like, oh, he's done war crimes. He's such a cute man giving candy to fucking Hillary Clinton. The shit that he's done.
Yeah.
Skull and Bones has a reputation for stealing keepsakes from other Yale societies or from campus buildings. Society members, reportedly called this practice crooking and strive to pretty much outdo each other's crooks. The society has been accused of posing the stolen skull of Martin Van Buren and Geronimo and Panko Villa. Who's Panko Villa?
Pancho Villa.
Oh, Pancho. Oh, that makes sense. Why is it spelled like Villa? Why can't I pronounce it?
That's how you say Villa. That's how you spell Villa.
Is Villa?
Yeah.
I speak English. If it's Villa, that's Villa.
You don't speak English. You speak Canadian.
Yeah, it's true. The society owns and manages Deer Island, an island retreat on St. Lawrence River. Alexander Robbins, author of a book on Yale Secret Society, wrote, "The 40-acre retreat is intended to give Bonesmen an opportunity to get together and rekindle old friendships. A century ago, the island sported tennis courts, and its softball fields were surrounded by rhubarb plants and gooseberry bushes. Gooseberry's pretty expensive now, actually. Cat boats waiting on the lake, stewards catering elegant meals. But although each new Skull and Bones member still visits Deer Island, the place leaves something to be desired. Now, it is just a bunch of burned down stone buildings, patriarch sign, and basically ruins. Another bonesman says that they call the island rustic would be to glorify it. It's a dump, but it's beautiful."
Yeah, they've been what I was looking at more recently. Everybody's kind of like, this place is a shithole. But
and there's like fucking photos that were like leaked from Deer Island. And it's a bunch of fucking college kids just drunk with chicks and doing weird shit.
What I would imagine it always was, honestly.
It looks like Camp Crystal Lake.
Good. Like maybe some mass killer will come and slaughter a good portion of the upper class of America.
That'd be great.
That would be
Your
sweet.
book listing Skull and Bones members for the 1920. The 1920 delegation included co-founders of Time Magazine, Britton Haddon, and Henry Luce. That's the co-founders, obviously, of Time Magazine then, right?
What year was that it occurred?
1920.
Okay. Because what year was Hitler Times Man of the Year? Was it 30?
How did that happen?
Because most of the world liked Hitler until World War II started. Most of the world was super like, what's the word? Not isolationist, but they were like, nationalism was a fucking thing, like a real hardcore thing for a lot of people. The Germanics, an insanely proud and fierce people, and like people just liked what Hitler was doing. Like they were a really big fan of it.
Have you ever looked up Howard Zinn?
That name sounds really familiar.
You should listen to Howard Zinn talk about. He's a historian. Vinny Paz literally cites him for the information he uses for a lot of his knowledgeable songs, like "You Can't Be Neutral on a Moving Train." Amazing song. Check it out by Vinny Paz, and he breaks down the history of when Columbus came and took all the natives' gold, and then when there was no gold, he used them as slaves and all that stuff. And it dives pretty deep. And Howard Zinn knows his shit and understands how societies work and what governments are actually all about and how they don't give a shit about you.
I've actually not ever really heard reports of natives as slaves, because more often than not, from my understanding, at least from the family history that I've had, whenever somebody tried to take a group of native slaves, it usually ended up in some slave owner getting his fucking head cut off.
Columbus Columbus took natives, indigenous people from Haiti, and enslaved them. That's like a fact.
Oh, okay. We're talking Haitians. We're not talking native.
Yeah, and natives to an extent, but there was wars broken out and stuff. Listen to Howard Zinn. I'm telling you, this guy is.
Well, Haiti was part of the slave trade to begin with. Like Haiti was part of like one of the stops from Africa to drop slaves at. Like that's where a lot of sugar plantations and shit was.
I really want to get into a whole episode about human slavery, but I think that's down the road because that's very it's a huge topic.
It's like a series.
Yeah.
If we're going all the way back to when tribes would, wipe out other tribes and be like, I'm taking 4 of you as slaves.
Yeah, why not? And you know who the first slave owner was, right?
God.
A black guy. Yeah. Look it up, bro.
Well, the podcast has been fun, everybody. We got canceled. See ya.
Skull and Bones membership developed a reputation associated with the power elite. Regarding qualifications for memberships, Lanny Davis wrote in 1968 Yale yearbook, if the society had a good year, this is what the ideal group would consist of. A football captain, a chairman of the Yale Daily News, a conspicuous radical, a wiffle ball, a swimming captain, a wiffle poof. Where the fuck is a whiffin' poof?
A what? How do you spell that? I'm looking it up right now.
WHIFFEN poof. You know what they call fags, right?
A poof, yes. Thank you.
That's a British slang. What the fuck is a whiffin'
It's a fucking a cappella group.
Oh my god! Why they call themselves Whiffin' Poof?
That's the name of the group.
That's your new nickname.
Whiffin', fuck you.
Whiffin' Poof.
You're the one. You and Juan are the ones obsessed with fucking straight dudes sucking dicks for some reason.
I think it's exciting, man.
Of course you do. Most straight guys are just like, the fucking dudes sucking other dudes' dicks, man.
I usually watch those pornos straight to gay.
Maybe you should.
So a swimming captain.
Okay.
A notorious drunk with a 94 average, and a filmmaker, political columnist, a religious group leader, a chairman of LIT, and a foreigner, a ladies' man with 2 motorcycles, an ex-serviceman. Oh, and it says, it says it, so I can say it. It says a Negro. If there are enough to go around, a guy nobody else in the group had ever heard of. So this is somebody who wrote in the 1968 Yale yearbook of who would be part. If the society had a good year, these are the people that would join it. Just a bunch of random assholes, fucking football captains, a black guy, I guess. So like, we gotta have one of those. It's the 60s.
You want a well-rounded group of individuals. I feel like that's the thing with
a diverse, community.
Well, you want the rich boy because then you can use their parents' cottage whenever you guys need to get out of town. Yeah. You want somebody who's good at sports because they will most likely bring the girls. You want like a bad boy in the group to just kind of shake things up a little bit. Like I'm sure it's just, founding some sort of group of people that they have archetypes to go on because they look at previous groups and being like, oh, okay, well, we don't want a bunch of fucking stiff-collared nerds just sitting here doing their homework all fucking day. We want to go out and rage.
We want to party, bro. We want to fuck some skeleton skulls. Skull fuck.
How could you fuck a skull and not cut your dick up?
You fuck in the eye, man. It's got to be like
it better be fresh.
It's just slightly decomposing skull.
Could you imagine the diseases you must get from fucking a corpse?
Listen to our necrophilia episode.
Did you ever cover any of the...
Yes. Did you not fucking listen to that episode?
I haven't caught that one yet, no.
Man, you should. It's fucking gold, dude.
Oh, I bet.
It's gold. Like the other Yale senior societies, Skull and Bones membership was almost exclusively limited to white Protestant males for much of its history.
Mm-hmm.
While Yale itself has exclusive policies directed at particular ethnic and religious groups, the senior societies are more exclusive. Which, like, because they want to be hip with it, they try to be exclusive. But that's everything. It's just like, we're not racist. We got a black guy over there. And see that Asian? He's crunching numbers right now for us.
Well, if you think about it, the power doesn't come from the people you let in. It comes from the people you don't allow in. It comes from how exclusive of an organization you are. Like, that's really what makes the difference. Because if you're just some group that lets everyone in, then there's nothing special about you. You let everyone in.
That's so true. While some Catholics were able to join such groups, Jews were more often not.
Which is weird, because if you're like with, at least as far as the magical connotations of Yale, most sorcerers and alchemists back in the day were Jewish because Christians weren't allowed to look into that kind of shit, and the Jews were just considered heretics to begin with.
True.
So sorcery, who do you think's doing the science?
Big nose sorcerers, man. And if you were Jewish, sorry, but you couldn't join Skull and Bones.
My nose resents that comment, Tom.
You do have the hook nose, bro.
Yeah, it's between the native and the Jewish. How the fuck can I not have a hook nose?
Remember, everybody, don't get offended. We are fucking just joking, okay? Everything is a fucking joke. Our whole motto, and I should post this all over fucking everything. Never take anything seriously.
Yeah, it's a joke, not a dick. Don't take it so hard.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, so they would exclude Jews and all that shit, which is not nice. Some of these excluded groups eventually entered Skull and Bones by means of sports. Through the society's practicing of tapping standout athletes. It's just funny, they're like, man, you're fast. That's probably why the black dude was joined in the 60s.
You're a Jew that can jump really high. We want you.
Yeah. You can run fast, man. You beat all those white kids. Like, it is kind of stupid. What do they contribute? Somebody who's fast.
If you're the best athlete in the group or in the school, then that's what you contribute. You are the best at something.
Yeah.
So therefore, you've increased the prestige of the organization because they were good enough to get you.
It's true. Star football players tapped for Skull and Bones include the first Jewish player. Oh, man. His name is Al Hasberg.
Hasenberg? Hi, I'm Al Hasenberg. I'm here to join the Skull and Bones.
Al Hesberg.
I hope that the introductory dinner will be kosher.
And he was the class of 1938. You sound like that pedophile Woody Allen.
Woody Allen is generally the source for all Jewish stereotypical voices to come from.
Man,
fuck Woody Allen and fuck Roman Polanski. They ruined films by their stupid shit.
You do a gold fucking Woody Allen. When we talk about that pedophile one day on this podcast, because we're going to talk about, I watched the whole documentary.
Why even give him time? Ignore him. Just pretend he doesn't exist.
And it's so fucked, dude. He fucked his own daughter.
He adopted a girl and then raised her and then fucked her, which is even more.
His daughter, Mia Farrow's daughter, Dylan.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I only knew about the Sunni shit.
I watched the whole documentary about him. He literally fucked his Mia Farrow's daughter. When she
no desire to watch documentaries about pedophiles. In the same way that I have no desire to watch rape revenge flicks.
You know why I watched?
I know what happens. I don't want to see it.
Do you know why I watch them?
If you say to masturbate, Tom, I'm ending this right now.
Because Chelsea makes me watch them.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair.
She loves like that whole fucking creepy ass. Like she likes like, you know, it's true crime shit or stuff like we just finished the Brittany Murphy documentary that was on Crave.
Oh, Brittany Murphy.
I liked her, and
No,
I
she
think
was great. I'm saying like I'm sad
yeah,
because she
I
got
think
cut
she was
shortly.
murdered. And Chelsea's like, everything's not a conspiracy, and I'm like, no, it is. I'm telling you, it is. Everything's set up. They killed Heath Ledger. His fucking Heath Ledger's best friend said that they fucking murdered him. Fucking, they periodically murder off celebrities. The cults like fucking Skull and Bones or the Freemasons or the Illuminati. They periodically kill off celebrities because it resonates energy with fucking people, and those reptilian assholes exhume that energy because Robin Williams did not kill himself. They said at the beginning of the report when he died that he slit his wrist and then hung himself. Okay, so he's bleeding out his wrist while trying to hang himself. Fuck that shit, man.
I've
Robin Williams
never
is murdered.
once heard the slit his wrists and hung himself from a reputable source. From my understanding, he hanged himself, which is the same thing as Carradine and Bourdain and Chris Cornell.
All murdered by the Illuminati.
Hanging is the most male version of suicide other than blowing your fucking brains out with a gun.
I don't give a shit. They murdered them. Okay, I was a huge fan of Anthony Bourdain. They fucking murdered him. They did. He was trying to expose Pizzagate and all the fucking pedophilia rings that were going on. They killed Anthony Bourdain. You cannot.
I don't want to alienate our audience by calling Pizzagate retarded, but you know.
Okay, part of it. Why are they talking about pizza then? Okay, we'll fucking talk about Pizzagate one day.
We have no way of verifying any of these documents. I mean, this very well could just be some
cooking. You think Hillary Clinton is just fucking some average chick?
No. Hillary Clinton, and that's the one thing with her is that anyone who has that number of suicides related to them should be investigated.
I love Anthony Bourdain with a passion. Loved him and everything. I used to be a chef. He inspired me when I was doing that game. It didn't pay enough, but they murdered his ass. And I know
I can almost get behind the Bourdain, Bennington, and Cornell thing because allegedly all three of them were working on exposing these things, and they were all well-traveled people. So it's entirely possible that they use their connections.
We should. I want to get into celebrity suicides and stuff like that, or celebrity murders. Or
that'd be an interesting topic for sure.
It's on the docket, but man, this topic makes you go off, and the beer probably doesn't help. But so they have Al Hesberg. You know, they got the Jewish guy in because he was good at sports, and African-American player Levi Jackson, class of 1950, who turned down the invitation for the Berzelia Society.
I'm not familiar with that one. I mainly looked into Skull and Bones and Scroll and Key.
The Breezelus Society?
Spell it.
Berzeelius.
Jons Jakob Berzolis, prolific correspondent, leading scientist of his time, such as Gerardus Mulder, Humphrey David Friedrich Wöhler, Alhard Misterlich, Friedrich Schobin.
I got editing to do on the fucking audio end. It says type in society.
I'm assuming some sort of scientific society. New Haven, Connecticut, Senior Society. It's a chemist society.
Stupid. So he turned down this chemist society, Levi Jackson, and then joined Skull and Bones. Among prominent alumni are former President Chief Justice William Taft, a founder's son. William Taft was the founder's son of Skull and Bones.
Yeah, that fat fuck got himself stuck in a bathtub.
Literally. Didn't he actually do that?
Yeah. No, he was so fat that he got stuck in a bathtub. That's one of our presidents in the U.S. got stuck in a fucking bathtub. So like we said,
former presidents, father, son, George H.W. and George W. Bush. Cheney. Who's Cheney Depew? Cheney Depew. What a fucking name, man.
Distance.
Cheney Depew?
D-E-P-E-W?
No. His name is Chauncey. Chauncey Depew. What a fucking name. I don't know why I said Cheney. It just
I don't know either. I was like, wait, Cheney wasn't a bonesman.
Who's Chauncey Depew? That's the greatest name I've ever heard in my life.
He is just a political person.
Oh. Chauncey is a stupid fucking name for everybody out there. If your name's Chauncey, fuck you. Chauncey D. Pugh, president of New York Central Railroad System, is what Chauncey D. Pugh was. A U.S. state senator from New York, mother of the Central Intelligence Agency, Henry Stimson, was a U.S. Secretary of War. Robert A. Lovett was the Secretary of Defense. William B. Washburn, governor of Massachusetts, and Henry Luce, like as we said, from they were founders of Time Magazine, Life, Fortune, and Sports Illustrated Magazine, are all prominent members of the Skull and Bones Society.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, John Kerry, U.S. Senator Stephen A. Schwartzman, former founder of the Blackstone Group, which fuck Blackstone. You know what that shit is, right?
Yes. No.
They're trying to Blackstone's trying to buy up everyone's property and shit.
Oh, they're the face for eminent domain.
They're trying to buy up all property so nobody owns shit. Like, people need to dive deeper in this.
That what's his fuck? That yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Austin Goolsby, chairman of Barack Obama's Council of Economic he's an economic advisor. Harold Stanley, co-founder of Morgan Stanley, and Frederick W. Smith, founder of FedEx, are all reported members. All these people that hold prominent positions in either politics, business, or politics and business, essentially, so they can control certain aspects of the reality in the world that we live in.
Yeah,
and they're all reptilians. Yeah.
I would say, did you look into where the numerology of 322 comes from?
No, I'm assuming it's Freemason though.
Well, there's no way to actually confirm it, but the one that seems to be the most agreed upon representation of 322 is Genesis 3:22, which is, and the Lord God said, behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil, and now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. So that could be a Promethean style, we are gods now mantra.
That's how they see themselves, though. They do. They're fucking. I'm surprised if this was in Canada, Trudeau would have been part of this, because he thinks he's God. He literally, Trudeau used to box, and he would box people that were 20, 30 years older than him, and he would get knocked the fuck out. And there's a conversation of him and his wife at some gala or some stupid shit, and he's like, I'm the best. And his wife's telling him she's like, be humble. He is, and it proves it when he's in a political stage. He is an egotistical fucking maniac. He is. Trudeau is the fucking I want to do a whole episode and just talk shit about this fucking dictator, because he's literally like psychopathic. He's a narcissist. He's a sociopath. That Trudeau is one of the worst, if not the worst, prime ministers we've ever had. And he's so psychotic. It's mind-blowing. The shit he says that we've been caught saying, and people just brush it off like it's fucking nothing. And I said this in the Halloween episode. He did blackface 4 fucking times.
Can you name me one person who has reached that level of office that isn't an egotistical psychopath? Because I sure as fuck can't. Yeah, that's how you reach those levels of office, is you are more or less a functioning sociopath.
Fucking pisses me off, bro. 2004... U.S. presidential election, both the Democratic and Republican nominees were alumni. George W. Bush,
John Kerry,
in his autobiography. Mm-hmm. Can you do in my senior year, I joined Skull and Bones, a secret society, so secret I can't say anything more.
In my senior year, I joined Skull and Bones, secret society. That's it's so secret that I can't say no more.
When asked what it meant that he and Bush were both bonesmen, former presidential candidate John Kerry said, "Not much, because it's a secret."
Yeah. Well, I mean, what did you expect? You expect one
I've
of them to be
seen
like,
that
"Oh,
video
I'm gonna."
footage too.
Oh, I know it's ridiculous, but it's like so many people jumped on that afterwards, and they were like, "See, it's like, yes, he's sworn to secrecy amongst his group of cohorts.
Yeah.
You thought he was gonna say something, because that's on you."
In the age of what seems that all that could be possible and to be concealed about anything and anybody has been revealed, those blank tombstone walls could be holding the last secrets left in America. You could ask Avril,
Levine,
Hair. Yeah, I know.
isn't she one of yours?
Yeah, she is. She actually died, and she is a clone.
That's one of
Her
my favorite theories, is that
her
Avril is a
friend took
clone.
over. That's the theory, is that Avril Lavigne died in a car crash, the same as Eminem did, and that their Eminem actually got cloned. That's the theory, because there's facial features that don't match up to him, because he's supposed to be, it was in a car crash in 2004.
Mhm.
And Avril Lavigne, supposedly she died in 2003 in a car crash. Coincidental? I don't know. I don't believe in coincidences. And her friend that looks very close to her took over her role, essentially, is what the theory goes. So yeah, you could ask Avril Harriman whether there is a real sarcophagus in the basement, and whether he and young Henry Stimson and young Henry Luce lay Henry Luce laid, they supposedly were laid down naked in the coffin, and they would to spill secrets of their adolescent sex lives to 14 fellow bonesmen. I've heard this
Mhm.
many times in the Skull and Bone Society. So you're supposed to lay down the sarcophagus, and you're supposed to expose your sexual deviance to other bonesmen, is essentially how this is supposed to go. And you lay in this creepy ass sarcophagus, and you're like, well, I touched Billy's dick when I was like 8, and like I was like, nah, it didn't really didn't do much for me, but like he got hard. And it's just like they would, or like, I accidentally brushed my elbow on Margaret's tit, and then she's like, I want to feel a little suckle on my nipples from you. And then I sucked her nipples, and that didn't really get me hard either. So I don't really know what I'm into.
Apparently, it's not tits or dick, so now I'm all sorts of confused. What the
Maybe
fuck?
it's
No,
a bit of both.
I've heard the uh, confessing your sexual history, which would just make
Mhm.
sense in that they are like, okay, well, we know this about you, you know this about us for new initiates and what have you.
It's
But
about
obviously,
exposing yourself.
well, yeah, of course. It's about complete transparency, which is another thing that I believe is in Freemasonry, where it's like,
Yes.
it doesn't really matter what you've done in the past necessarily, as long as you are completely upfront about it with the Brotherhood, then they
Yeah.
know that they can trust you.
And that's what it's about. It's literally in the same way in Freemasonry and these sex rings and everything that happens to do with even stuff like Epstein and shit, right? Like that. You expose something. Like, there's people that believe that China has a video footage of Trudeau getting down and dirty with a child. Essentially, that's one of the theories going around, because China seems to have Trudeau by the fucking balls. And what happens in these higher societies and people that control the world that we live in is they have to have stuff on each other to allow to dangle these chains over them, essentially be like, you have to do this or we're going to expose this. And I do believe that exists. I do 100% believe that, people, that are think that this stuff is far-fetched and conspiracy. Sex rings exist. 3 odd million children, if not more, go missing a year. It's not just some random pedo or something like that down the street. This holds higher meaning. And that's why I'm a fan of David Icke, because he's exposing this shit. And I believe that's real. That is fucking real. That people use some sort of energy source when it comes to pubescent kids, and even when they're about to hit puberty, they go through changes. This energy accumulates within the body, and spirituality above all of this shit. I believe that, man. I went through it myself. And if I had George Bush dangling, like touching my balls, man, who knows what had happened. But like, there's something behind all of this shit, and they hold stuff on people they have these things on people. That's why you talk about like if Pizzagate's a real thing or whatever these things are. If you have something on some of these people, if they go to all these parties and be like, oh, here's this room where you can fuck the sausage, which is like whatever 10-year-old boys, and yeah, this one where it's like you can fuck the pepperoni, and that's fucking girls. I don't fucking know the terminology. I'm not a fucking Freemason, but you understand what I'm saying, that they hold things over people and they put them in these situations and essentially get them to conform and do these nasty things and videotape it or fucking film it or have pictures so they can have something on them. So later on, like, you have to do this or I'm exposing you.
I mean, it's called leverage. So take, for example,
Leverage, as my buddy would say.
We're students, okay, at some prestigious university. Tom, you are the heir to a shipping fortune. Let's call it that. You control a lot of international trade.
I'm the heir to the beer from Strange Brew. What's that called?
Elsinore.
Elsinore beer.
Elsinore Brewery. So you're the heir to Elsinore Brewery, and I am the heir to the trucking company of Northern Canada or of Central Canada or wherever the fuck. I control the trucks. You control the beer. Now, I'm worried because of our interactions on campus that the day will come where you decide, since you have the beer and I have the trucks, that you are going to increase the cost and basically make it so I'm not making as much as I should be, and you are the one on top.
Yeah.
Now, us being fraternity brothers, we get really rip-roaring drunk at a party one night, and you are highly suggestible in your state. Maybe you're, doing a little acid or something, whatever. So you, after being suggested by myself or a cohort, wander off into a room where we told you there's some girl waiting for you or something like that.
And it's a child.
No, it's not a child. I wasn't going to take it to that level. I was going to say it's some dude with a big fucking floppy wiener hanging out. Nice. And you are blindfolded because we have a girl who's basically like, come on, and talking to you while you're blindfolded, and she's feeling your tits. We give her the old bait bus switch. And now I have a picture of you with the biggest fucking cock that you've ever seen in your hand. Now, you forget about this completely. 20 years goes by. We are in that situation. And I basically come to you and go, hey, you know how you've got a wife and you failed to get a prenup? I can fuck that all up. I can fuck that all up with one photo. So now you're going to play ball the way I want to play ball.
Yeah.
So that just goes without saying.
No, and I agree with you on all that they definitely do stuff like that. I do believe that there is more. It goes way deeper than that.
Of course. What I'm saying,
in my belief,
that alone is not evidence to say factually, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you have a basement full of children and are harvesting adrenochrome.
No, not that. I'm not saying that
that's
entirely.
Pizzagate, though, man. Like that's the thing.
It's a theory. I'm not saying Pizzagate's real. It probably is, because they have fucking text messages and emails that are all linked to this. And I'm just saying, I believe we won't know till we're fucking dead, because when you
probably won't even know then.
You will, trust me, because you find out every single secret about what's going on in this world once you die. You ask Robin Monroe.
As soon as you die, you just get this info dump in your brain, and you're just like, I don't want all this shit. Get it out.
That's the point. That is literally Robin Monroe. I said to you before, a guy that died for fucking several hours or whatever, said that there's no secrets in this life, because once you die, you see everything. Everything around everybody, because because time doesn't exist. You get this consciousness unload of everyone that you're connected to. And whatever, you don't have to believe it. Juan doesn't have to believe it.
No, I'm just saying, died for several hours.
Yes,
that's physically impossible. But I need to look this up.
Read his book, Robin Monroe. But essentially, I do believe that exists. That they hold things over people, and the biggest sin is to essentially kill, fuck, whatever, a child. And that they hold these things over these people. I believe that.
So he was big on OBs or OBEs.
Yeah, near-death experiences, yeah.
All right, that's homework. Cool.
Okay.
But Skull and Bones. So a lot of the what I've noticed with Skull and Bones is a lot of it is the stereotype, which is the anti-Christian shit, like the whole masturbation, satanic ritual, spilling of seed, etc., etc. Because that was the other thing with the coffin, is that you allegedly had to lay in a coffin
and expose
naked,
yourself,
jerk off, holding a skull, and swearing your allegiance to Satan. But the only evidence I can find of that is random hearsay on Christian pages. Because if you dig,
they're never gonna fucking tell you, bro. They're never gonna tell you. Never gonna know.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and my speculation that they essentially make politicians and people in power have sex with children during these weird parties, I think is completely real. Tell me where the fuck all these children go missing every year.
That's the thing, is that that is a fact, 100%, that children just up and go missing. But it's not necessary. I don't fucking know. I'm not the one buying them and selling them.
Okay, go find out, because
all right. I'm gonna need to borrow all of Strange Brew's vast resources, and I'm gonna go on a covert mission. And just know that if I hang myself, it's not because of years of unchecked depression.
It's a dark room with one computer from the 1980s.
I'm doing the world's research on a Commodore 64. I'm sorry, you're what?
So they do these rituals. They put them in sarcophaguses, supposedly make them tell all about their sexy times with Susie when they were a kid. And they're probably sitting there jerking off under their robes. Who knows?
Who's having sexy times as a kid?
Man, I lost my virginity at 12, man.
Yeah, me too. But like that was like one.
You did?
It didn't continue. High five. Ha!
It didn't continue. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. Everyone thinks I'm crazy when I say that shit, but I wanted to get laid. I was fucking young. All my friends wanted to have sex. We were perverts. And I did it.
I was 12. She was 17.
Oh, I was 12. She was almost 14. She was older. She had some big gazungas for her.
Remember, it's okay if you were the 12-year-old. No, it's fucking not. But I don't know. You
could ask Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart if he came at a time in the year of 1937 when he dressed up in a skeleton suit and howled widely at an initiative in a red velvet room inside of a tomb.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Like I want to do this. Just like howling and just screaming, this blood curdling. Like what's the initiative doing? Like first 2 minutes, like just nervous laughter, and then it goes on for another 5 minutes, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what is
howl?
And it just keeps going, like meant to psychologically break you down so that you can be like, what do you fucking want from me, skeleton?
I think that's part of it. I want to watch the movie Skulls now. I just want to watch it.
It's fun. I would say it's kind of like, did you ever watch that The Covenant?
Maybe.
It was that sexy teen male witch movie that came out in the early 2000s.
I probably watched it. Oh, it sounds so familiar. Yeah, I did.
A bunch of really cut dudes that all lived in Salem and were like the descendants of witches, but if they used too much of their power, they would start to die or some shit.
It's like Twilight.
Yeah, my ex-boyfriend loved that movie, and I was like, this is just a bunch of shredded, shirtless dudes. Like, that's why you like this movie. The plot's fucking terrible.
Same with Twilight. I'm a glowing vampire, and I can go out in the daylight.
Ugh.
So stupid. Vampires are supposed to be scary, not sexy.
That's why I love 30 Days a Night.
Yeah.
They turned them into vicious fucking animals, and it was like, all right, that's cool.
The initiation rituals of Skull and Bones are some of the most interesting parts of their society. Not because of how weird they are, and they're fucking weird, because no one actually is sure which ritual is true and which is an exaggeration. And supposedly one dude did break in. I'll probably post some of the footage on the Instagram Strange Brew podcast, because there is supposedly footage of inside the Skull and Bones. Mm-hmm. These are also stories of jumping into a pile of mud, or maybe wrestling another initiative in a pile of mud. So like fucking sexy wrestling. I don't understand that.
Nude mud wrestling.
Why?
Nude wrestling is the traditional way to wrestle if we're going by Greek society here. And B, you have no clothes to grapple onto. What are you going to do? You're going to grab a handful of dick. That's about it.
Yeah.
Or you're going to pop a couple fingers in the ass. And then it's going to take a very weird turn because, you've somehow managed to stick 2 fingers up your buddy's ass and you're turning him on to shit he's never heard of before. And then before you know it, you're 69ing in the mud.
Yeah, so I was going to say, you start like by accident, and then you're like grappling. You're like,
you grab his dick, you both get hard, and you're just like,
All
Fuck
right,
it.
let's
This is what
go
this
with
is
it.
turning into now.
And
But those
who
are the
can't-
movies that I watched, Tom.
Yeah. And who can't forget the rumor that the initiatives are given a gift of $15,000 and granted a lifetime of financial security just for being tapped to join the Skull and Bone Society.
So
That
do they
sounds
have to
good.
accept it, or? And you'd think
Yeah.
15K is chump change to these kids.
Yes, it is. But you
'Cause-
get that money and you're guaranteed a life of financial security if something happens.
I'm gonna look this up really quick.
I love editing the audio.
You want me to mute it while I type?
No, it's just fucking because we're looking into things and
What are you talking about? This is great. Just leave
the
it.
YouTube's fine or the Twitch is fine,
No,
but
man, leave it. It's good. It's good shit. People will enjoy this. All right. I'm trying to find out how much one semester at Yale costs.
all right, take your time. These wildly different stories about rituals and the functions of how they do them as a way to make sure everything seems ridiculous while everything seems to be possible. So they're kind of, it's just like, yeah, whatever. Nobody gives a shit.
I found it.
Okay.
77 grand
A year?
a semester.
Holy fuck. That's a crazy, you know,
It's almost $100,000 a semester. So tuition is
semester is
59
6 months, right? Essentially.
I think so. Yeah. So tuition is 59,000, room is 10,000, and board is 7.7 thousand.
Holy fuck. That's a lot, man.
So 15 grand covers your room
Jesus.
and part of your board.
Wow, mind blown. Skull and Bones was founded in the height of the antebellum era. Do you know what that is?
Antebellum, the antebellum era in the South. It was no. I know of it, but I don't know what it is. Hang on. Belonging to the period before a war, so it was pre-Civil War America.
You're making my editing longer. What? A little bit. What? Just figure it out after. Just get. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, sure. Sure. Okay, bye. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, what the fuck is. I know, just leave, man. I'm trying to do something.
Yell at me for the editing.
Jesus fuck. So I'll restate that, but fuck the YouTube. Skull and Bones was founded in the height of the antebellum era. What the fuck is that?
Pre-Civil War U.S.
That's when it was founded. So before they fought for, can I keep slaves? No, you got can't.
For the American vernacular, yes, antebellum means pre-Civil War U.S.
And despite its northern location from the very beginning, it has roots in racism and elitism. Oh, does it? Is that what it's about? I think so.
Provable fact, something that's not often spoken about, is a good chunk of that era of the Northeast of the U.S. was real pro-slavery. They don't fucking talk about it at all. But that's why, like, areas like Vermont and Connecticut were very white for a very long time.
And guess what? Without gay ass Lincoln, we couldn't have any fucking. We couldn't. You guys probably would still have slaves. Who knows? You know, Lincoln was gay, right?
I've heard that Lincoln was gay. Yes,
he was gay, dude. He spent time with his homeboy in bed. They like to get down and dirty. It's okay, man. Yo, Lincoln probably had a cock on him though, bro.
Yeah, I would imagine Lincoln had a log, right?
I think he had a fucking huge dong on him.
Think he could split a tree with it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, George Washington had one of these.
You think so?
Yes, 100%.
Why?
I don't know, just his stature and his haircut.
That was a wig.
Yeah, it's still his haircut because under there,
No, it's not. It's a powdered wig.
It was a fucking bald underneath there.
That wig was probably never cut a day in its life.
He probably looked like the guy from. You ever seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang where he gives the bad haircut?
Oh, I haven't seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang since I was a kid.
No, he does the fucking haircut fucking thing and he pops it off and it's got like the fucking skullet and a little fucking hair on top.
No, I do not.
Skull and Bones was founded in height of this era, and despite its northern location, like I said, it was rooted to racism and elitism. Originally founded by William Huntington and Russell and Al Al Alphysio Taft, Alphonso.
Alfonso.
That's a name.
Yep.
Somebody named their kid Alfonso.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's Spanish in origin.
All right. So originally founded by William Huntington, Russell, and Alfonso Taft, the former member who inspired by occultist groups he encountered on a trip to Germany. These same occultist groups influenced the rise of the Nazi Party and were steeped in eugenics and one race philosophy. Not the left.
So the Thule Society, existed well before World War II ever existed. Eugenics was predominantly started in the U.S., as we are well aware. Any of the listeners that have been with us through many of those episodes will know that the U.S. was the leading progenitor of eugenics. The Nazis stole it from us. So
it's true, bro.
We're sorry. Sorry. So, because the U.S. was originally the first place to sterilize mental patients, poor people, etc., etc. So it's not as though these talks are new.
No,
of
they've been talking about
population
this forever.
control.
And there was literally video footage, I think from the 1920s, 30s, of talking about eugenics and how to get rid of the dum-dums and to keep the smarts. And all that type of jazz, because they literally would make essentially propagandized videos portraying how you need to get rid of certain groups of people to further society's gain and to get rid of the idiots. And that is what is happening right now with the old, the whole, the Kool-Aid.
The heroin epidemic?
No, the Kool-Aid.
The Flavor Aid?
The vaccine.
I'm fucking with you. I know what you're talking about. I just wanted to make you say
there are some theories, obviously, other than the other ones that we've talked about in this podcast, which we're going to do a whole rant about all this stuff because I have a lot to say. But that's part of it, is that the people that are just compliant and will just go along and take something without any knowledge of what this might actually do to your body, to your genetic structure, to any of this stuff, that just be like, well, the government told me it's good. That's getting rid of unintelligent people and leaving the smart ones to exist.
But again, that is contrary to the theory that we talked about in the beginning of this episode.
Know. Billy's whole thing is like, well, Bill Burr said, why would they kill the people that are complying? It's like, because it doesn't matter, because more of the population will comply because people are subservient and they believe in a tyrannical government no matter what fucking happens.
So, I brought this up numerous times before. If you are going to leave the people who are fighting this to begin with, and you're going to kill off a whole bunch of people, all you've done is proven them correct.
Be enough of us to fight it. That's the point. Because we're compared to the population, 70% of people in Canada has taken this shit. Okay, so the people left fighting, it won't really matter. We'll just be used as fucking cows milking our good old seed because we're the only ones that be able to have kids. So the theory goes. Of course, you'll be Anton. They're gonna force you. They're gonna strap you down and and give you're in Futurama, and they're gonna make you snoo.
They can fucking scrape my semen off Tom Hardy's face where it belongs. Okay.
Tom Hardy's a hunk. That's for sure.
Love Tom Hardy.
Oh, so do I, man. I'm so excited for Venom. Fucking Let There Be Carnage. I want to see that shit.
I've heard it was fucking horrible.
I don't give a shit. People say everything's horrible.
No, I mean, I've people that I know that I
did you like the first Venom? They said that one was bad.
I did. I enjoyed the first Venom. It's not really accurate, but I enjoyed it.
It's not supposed to be accurate. It's supposed to be fun.
I'll watch anything with Tom Hardy in it, especially Bronson, because he hangs dong a lot.
Oh yeah, I know. When he if no one ever has seen the movie Bronson, go check it out, because it's based on this literally maniac, this guy that just loved to fight. He got naked and based himself in butter so he could fight the prisoner guards because he loved to fight that much.
He's England's most violent prisoner.
Literally.
And now he paints.
Yo, That's on the docket.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's on the
Yes.
docket. Let's do that this year.
I'm just going to talk about Tom Hardy's dick for 2 hours.
Of course, Skull and Bones has also excluded women and very much catered to white males, the elite, the 1% of Yale's historical student body. According to the piece in The Atlantic, this type of exclusion may be changing, like we said, as the club does seek diversity in itself while remaining secretive and exclusive.
Well, it has to grow with the times if you think
They
about
have to, and or not, they'll be pushed to the wind because people will be like, "Get rid of this shit," because they don't accept trans people. A semi-occult and secretive brotherhood like Skull and Bones needs a semi-occult secretive layer where they can hold their initiative ceremonies all night and at saloons. And in the early 19th century, the Skull and Bones rented out various on-campus halls where they would hold late-night discussions. But in 1856, they finally conducted and constructed the tomb. They finally constructed the tomb, a windowless brownstone building where bonesmen would meet privately every Thursday and Sunday. No one knows exactly what's inside the tomb, but there have been very few expeditions by curious outsiders. I don't give a fucking shit. Shoot me, I'll do it. If I live in the States, I'd go.
So hear me out. All we have to do is get into Yale. All right. Now, once we're in Yale,
I'm 30.
We don't pledge Skull and Bones. We pledge a rival fraternity.
Okay.
And we then come up with the idea that for our initiate thing into whatever fraternity we pledge, we are going to rob Skull and Bones. We're going to do some crooking on the crooks.
Do some crooking on ourselves, or crooking to themselves.
Then we get in to the tomb and are subsequently murdered. It's a foolproof plan. What could go wrong?
Can we jerk off on the corpses first?
You think I'm going to break into the tomb and not masturbate on corpses? What do you take me for? I thought you knew me better than that. The first thing I'm doing is cranking one out on that corpse.
I would honestly, I'm not really scared of shit, really. And if I was in the States and I lived in Connecticut, I don't give a fucking shit. I'd go try to break into that thing. It's probably got a big sealed door, but I would try.
Get your fake vax card, make it across the states, and we'll go on a road trip.
I know Juan's been listen to the Minerva Monster episode. Juan's like telling us we have to go to fucking what's that fucking shit? Now I'm fucking blanking too much beer. Juan's telling us that we need to go to what the fuck, man? What can I think of this shit? The stupid creatures that fucking Juan loves. Then there's a farm or a fucking
Skinwalker Ranch?
Yeah.
Juan talking shit about Skinwalker Ranch?
Juan wants us to go to Skinwalker Ranch.
I'm done.
And all do like Ouija board and stuff like that. And I was like, no, you got to come up to Buffalo. It's closer. He's like, no, fuck that. He's like, we're going to Skinwalker Ranch and going to Utah. And I was like, you know how far that is from where I am? I can get to Anton like fucking an hour and a half.
Get to me in an hour and we'll make it to Utah in 2 days.
Yeah, that's fucking far, man. Fuck that shit.
We'll take a train. That's how I got to Utah the first time I went there.
Juan's like, you think we're not gonna fucking do a podcast together? And he's like, we have to do it in person, have a drink. And I was like, yeah, just wait till my dictatorship country fucking starts letting me in. But
I don't know, by the time your dictatorship country crumbles by your own logic, Tom, you're gonna be part of China.
Yes, essentially. The Chinese are on our borders right now, so
then you're definitely not fucking going anywhere.
I'll fucking run over that border like I'm a Mexican, bro. I'll jump.
You gotta go find the least.
I'll dig holes.
Spot.
A semi-occult secretive brotherhood like Skull and Bones needs a semi-occult layer, like I said. So in 1876, a group calling itself the Order of File and Claw, which is very weird, named because they used to break into the tomb. Actually wrote a pamphlet about what they found. Rooms outfitted with black and red velvet, pentagrams on the walls, and photos of alternative society, essentially, in Germany. There's photos of this, supposedly. A few years later, another group broke in and found a gruesome scene. On the west walls, hung amongst other pictures, an old engraving representing an open burial vault in which on the stone slab rest 4 human skulls, groped about the fool's cap and bells. I don't know what that means. Grouped about the fool's cap and bells. An open book and several mathematic instruments and a beggar's script and a royal crown.
Okay, so
It's
that's
a
all
fool's cap and
pretty.
bells.
Sorry, I'm looking at images of the tomb right now.
Looks sexy. Does it look like somewhere you film a porno?
I mean, a pretty twisted fucking porno for sure.
Like Dracula sucks.
Dracula sucks. A lot of these are just. Let's see. Yeah, so the main lodge or the main room looks crazy. It looks like partially like a hunting lodge.
Yeah.
And then the other half of it looks like what I would assume the inside of like the OTO looks like.
Yeah.
322 is scattered everywhere. It looks much cleaner than a traditional frat house. That's for sure.
This is in the essentially which is in the actual tomb. Is they're saying there's engravings and an open burial vault, stone slab, 4 human skulls.
Yeah.
A fool's cap and bells. So I think that's like a dunce cap.
No, a fool's cap and bells is, think a traditional court fool, a jester.
Oh,
you know how they have the hat with all the different.
Yes. Oh, that makes so much sense. Now when I'm reading that, I'm like, what the fuck is a fool's cap and bells?
Yeah,
that makes cap so much sense.
Otherwise, you just have a fool's cap without the bells.
And then obviously mathematical instruments because, Freemasons like mapping out things with their fucking stupid protractors.
But that goes into the origin. The supposed origin of Freemasonry, which is that they were the ones that built Solomon's Temple. And they were actual stonemasons, which is why they were allowed to move free and clear through lands that didn't necessarily take very kindly to outsiders because they were on a specific trip.
And if you were Solomon, good job, bro. 100 wives and 1,000 kids sounds like a lot of fun.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it does. Outside of the rumors that persist about the secret society, many people believe that because due to the amount of members who are part of the government who are inside the Skull and Bones, that the members dictate a plan for the world from within inside the tomb. The biggest theory that the Bonesmen have helped pull off the assassination of JFK, like you said, much of the proof of its theory relies on the fact that in 1963, George H.W. Bush was president of the Zapata offshore.
Zapata.
Yeah.
Zapata.
Zapata.
After Emmanuel Zapata.
The Zapata offshore oil company, a job that saw him going back and forth between Texas and Miami on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. He allegedly used his time in Miami to recruit Cuban nationals who would be happy to assassinate the president. It's weird because fucking Moral Technique, I think, talked about that shit.
Well, the other connection that it's loose at best is that when we talked about the was it the OSS or the OSS, whoever one of the other previous members was that founded the intelligence community was also a Bonesman.
Makes a lot of sense, though.
Yeah.
Because many conspiracy theorists believe that Skull and Bones was created as a way to build a modern Illuminati that would serve as a way for the 1% to meet in secret and plan out its dystopia, lording by the Yale Illuminati or alumni, not Illuminati, the Yale alumni. The craziest thing that the Skull and Bones supposedly did was put the Manhattan Project in motion. Which is fucked, man. And,
which theory do you subscribe to? That
they made a monster?
No, atom bomb. Oh no, that the atom bomb saved lives, or that it cost lives?
Cost lives. Fuck, the atom bomb didn't need to do shit, man. In my opinion of world wars, and I take some of this stuff from Howard Zinn, as I mentioned before, because he's a historian that literally knows his shit and put this as fact that the governments don't give a shit about you, your rights, your welfare, nothing. They don't care about you, or the people wouldn't be going into Vietnam. They wouldn't have created the wars that they did with North Korea and all this stuff. that these people are all in cahoots. They're all in cahoots, and the biggest egotistical thing that a politician or someone in power can do is not send one person to a frying chair, but send thousands off to war to die, if not millions. That's my opinion, is that they fund all these players in this political stage, and then they pick and choose who's going to win. It's almost it's a game of fucking chess. Is essentially how the political stage and wars have been portrayed in history. That there is always people on the top that are making money off of both sides.
Of course,
it's fucking facts, bro. When the new members officially join Skull and Bones, they take on a new name of fellow bonesmen. That's what they're known for. So they take on names, and they'll be known for these names, like you said, for the rest of their lives.
That's standard fraternity practice, though, amongst all fraternities.
What
you
was,
get a nickname.
What was Homeboy's nickname in
W's?
No, I know we talked about him. His is stupid.
What is it?
Is it a failure?
Temporary.
I'm temporary.
But back in the day, you could do what was called a Google bomb. If you typed in useless failure into Google and hit the I'm feeling lucky button, it took you directly to the White House homepage of George Bush's bio.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking hilarious. What was from Animal House? What was Belushi's
Pluto?
fucking? Oh, it was Bluto, not Pluto, but Bluto, right?
Bluto.
And that was his
Last
fraternity name.
Blutarsky.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Because at the end of the movie, he went on to be Senator Robert Blutarsky.
Shout out Anton's very first episode on this podcast.
Oh yeah, that's that's why I have this. My Saint Belushi, my Joliet Jake candle.
So fucking dope. He's showing his religious Belushi candle that he lights every night and jerks off to under a crescent
Did I show you
moon.
this one too?
That's fucking awesome.
My Saint Mars
Attacks is amazing, man.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. When so some bonesmen pass down their actually nicknames to younger recruits. Like Lewis Lampkin, Harper's Magazine did with his own nickname, Sancho Panza. Sancho Panza.
Sancho Panza?
Sancho Panza, yeah, I guess. Which he passed it to Tex McRae, a PR specialist. So sometimes they'd be like, you know what? You sucked my dick real good the last 2 years. You can take my nickname. So bonesmen who were the most sexually active received nicknames like Magog, yeah.
Magog.
Is that supposed to mean something?
Yeah, Magog is like a Babylonian destructor deity.
I love to fuck, so you are the destructor.
Mag and Magog. Well, so a lot of those have super heavy occult significance. So Baal. Baal is a Sumerian god.
Demon. He's a demon.
He was adopted into being a demon by the fucking early church. Because it was when Rome conquered all the other spots with all the other different random tribes. I mean, Mesopotamia was a different episode. Scratch that.
It's fucked. So anyone who was a varsity football captain was known as Boaz. Do you know who
I don't know what the
Boaz is?
significance of that is. It's got so many of those have to be deities. But then there's Hamlet. Why the fuck is Hamlet in there?
So some bonesmen are allowed to choose their own nicknames. Leslie George W. Bush was one of these lucky devils. But he, like you said, he couldn't think of anything his fellow bonesmen. Like he couldn't think of anything. He is that dumb. He just couldn't. I was like, I don't know.
I'll get a placeholder and then I'll think of one later.
Yeah, he refers to himself as temporary. And the name stuck, which is so fucked up. And if there are any rumors about Skull and Bones that made the men seem less horrifying, is the one according to Esquire writer John Rosenbaum. Ron Rosenbaum sounds so familiar. There's a room inside the tomb that is covered in license plates from across the country. Rosenbaum, an author who's writing has wrote extensively about the secret society, says that he discovered this after a woman wrote into him to say that she had been secreted secreted, I guess, into the tomb one night by a bonesman who wanted to impress her. It's a college kid, or well, a university kid, but essentially wants to impress the chick. And it's like, check out this tomb, baby.
Yeah, come on, baby, put out. We've been dating for like 3 days now. I don't want to, but if you sneak me into the tomb.
Sounds like an 80s thing. It just reminds me of like an 80s movie. It literally does.
That room sounds like your typical prank room where it's like every time we go on vacation, we got to steal a license plate that has 322 on it. Like that just sounds like your usual fraternity hijinks.
No, it does. It sounds like stupid college kids or university kids, but
there's actually talk that apparently there's the Coffin Room, which is its own secluded single coffin room. There's the room with, I'm assuming it would be used for either intimidation purposes or for casting out a member for spilling secrets. Let's go with that. Which is the one that supposedly has a chopping block and an axe on it, and the floor has got like red liquids everywhere.
That sounds really fun.
Sounds metal as fuck.
It does. So supposedly, says the woman, and that she was brought into the tomb one night because a bonesman wanted to impress her. Once inside, the bonesman showed her the room and explained that the plates have all the number, like you said, 322, stamped on them. Bones members were supposedly to confiscate any license plate, essentially steal any license plate they found with the sacred numbers on it for keepsake in the room of license plates. It does sound like a stupid frat prank.
Think that room's full?
Yeah, I would think by now.
So is it still a tradition, or what do they do? They're like, okay, now we're just storing them in a storage unit in Tulsa.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, because there's like you walk in and it's just like you're like pushing your way, the clink, clank, clank, clink, clank, clink, 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 like all these fucking
top to bottom. You open the door and like it comically spills out into the hallway.
When the Esquire writer Ron Rosenbaum went looking into the skull and bones for a piece of for a 1976 piece, he had trouble finding anyone who would talk to him. The few people who did, he did find who were open to chatting, warned him of reprisals against him after the piece was published. One friend of a bonesman allegedly asked Rosenbaum where he did his banking before explaining that there were 3 bonesmen on the council of his bank and he would never get a line of credit again. Pretty much threatening him because they're in parts of these societies, right? And they kind of influence everything. So, and I feel like they seed their way in every little crevice of political stature or banking or business so they can control things in this hierarchy. If there's a couple of them in there that can control it.
If you think about it, that's the only way the conspiracy works. Because without those key elements, all theories fall apart.
It's true. So the anonymous man said they don't like people tampering and prying. The power of the bones is incredible. It's like my bones, incredible how powerful it is. They've got their hands on every level of power in the country. Just like I said, you'll see. It's like trying to look into the mafia. Remember, they're a secret society too.
The mafia isn't real. It was made up to sell movies. At least that's what that fine Italian gentleman told me when I asked him about it.
Yeah, fuck off. It was definitely real. Yeah, and that's
you've never heard anyone use that before?
No, never actually.
Oh, yeah, it's like, are you in the mob? The mafia isn't real. It's made up to sell movies. Now get the fuck out of here, kid. Stop asking so many stupid questions.
And what a crazy I think part of me wants to think that it's just a stupid fraternity that conspiracy theories resonate around it because of how strange it was and that you weren't allowed in. So certain different people at Yale started making up these rumors. But there's a big part of me that believes that this is 100% a secret society, that they put in exclusive members so they can have membership and they can control certain aspects of reality and stuff like that.
I would say 90% of what you just said, that second part, is not only a good theory, but is probably nail on the head. Any society that is going to exist with that level of secrecy, with that level of affluence, is going to have sway over things you don't fucking want them to have sway over. But whether or not the more fantastical and far-fetched things actually occurred, like, I would totally believe that, yeah, Prescott probably did steal Geronimo.
Yeah, I
like,
think
if you think about it, early 1900s, like with every decade of like where we're at right now, people being like, dude, the fucking 2000s was the shit. Everybody was so cool. And then when we were kids, it was like, the fucking 80s is the shit. Everything was so cool.
It's not it's not gonna be the same anymore. The 2010 was not the shit.
Yeah, 2020 fucking sucked dink. But no, so like if you think about it, that nostalgia is going to be there because they most likely grew up listening to legends of the Old West and cowboys and Indians and et cetera, blah, blah, blah. So, of course, somebody trying to be like, my fucking dick's so big. Let's go steal Geronimo, one of the most famous native people ever. Let's go steal his fucking skull.
I know. I think this is deeper than we'll ever understand. And I do think that this society is probably a lot creepier and a lot stranger than we will understand because they're not going to reveal their like real secrets. I do think they make people lay in a coffin naked and expose their sexual secrets. I do think that's the thing. But interesting topic. I'm sure we'll dive back into something along this lines down the road. And maybe bring the skull and bones back up because we might talk about other secret societies. That's for sure because anything and everything strange will happen on this podcast.
I you know, honestly, I feel like I lost that thought. I had it and now it's gone. It was something to do with right, fuck that. Edit that out.
Okay, edit, not the video though, because we suck.
So bones.
So yeah, follow us at www.strangerpodcast.com. Get some merch, bro. Everybody buy some merch. Support us. That's the best way too, is to rep us on your clothing because I'm a walking advertisement for this podcast. But you know, you could follow us on Rizzle now. I'm all over. Fuck TikTok, bro. Rizzle. Get me up there. I'm already 1,000 followers. Get on Rizzle. That's a different type of app. We have different channels for podcast promotions and all that stuff. And follow us on Instagram, Strange Brew Podcast. And Anton, get Rizzle.
Get Rizzle. Oh. All right. So on Instagram, I'm HP Shovecraft as long as it doesn't get shut down, which my messages are back up, so that's fine. On Twitch, it's InvaderDaggett_TTV. I think on Clapper, it's HP Shovecraft, and once I start a Rizzle, it will also be HP Shovecraft. Yeah, that's a generic search.
Yes, HP Shovecraft. Check out Anton's Clapper because we have that shit too, and we'll have Rizzle, which is promotion and shit like that. So